Good morning. I think it's still morning. Today's an historic day in Pittsburgh. Today we unveil the details of our Welcoming Pittsburgh plan. And the plan is really on the cutting edge of how cities can attract new people, people from around the country, people from around the world, to help to be a part of what is happening around this country, around this world, of the changing economy. You know, the interesting thing about immigrants in Pittsburgh is it's part of our DNA. It's who we are. And for any of us who have had the opportunity to live a better life, we owe it to our parents or our grandparents, and in some cases great-grandparents, who didn't have that type of a life, who had to work hard, had to struggle, had to sacrifice to give us the opportunity to have it better. And to anybody who's a Pittsburgher, there's an opportunity and a responsibility to make sure that that continues for the next generation. Our history is built upon the backs of those that worked in the mills, upon the sweat of those that worked in the mines. And our future is based on the innovation of what the next generation of immigrants will bring. We're blessed. We already have, for this area of Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio, Northern West Virginia, the most highly educated, the highest earning Pan-Asian community in this country. But what we lack are the ones without the skills and the ones that can help us to rebuild our neighborhoods. This is not only a question of doing what is right and doing what is owed to us by those that have been blessed because of the sacrifices of our family, but it's also a critical part of the growth of a new Pittsburgh, the next economy, and a part of seeing the full potential of every neighborhood to see revitalization. The Welcome Pittsburgh plan has very specific tasks that we will be held accountable to deliver. I want to thank Betty Cruz, who has put not only her time into this, but her heart into it as well. I want to thank the advisory panel that has put in many hours of reaching out into every corner of this city. This is an all-hands-on-deck approach, which, unlike other cities, has very little opposition because we're all a part of it, from our faith-based institutions and our nonprofits, to our corporate leaders in labor, to our government, and the people who are making the difference. What a wonderful city to be a part of. What a wonderful legacy to be able to continue. What a great day for Pittsburgh and for its future. With that, I'd like to recognize Director Rodriguez, who quietly told me what an amazing city we do have. And sometimes that third-party recognition is what makes you think maybe they're right. Director?
Well, it's great to be back in Pittsburgh. I think, as some of you know, I actually had the pleasure to live in Pittsburgh for about 4 years, back about 15 years ago, and worked in the United States Attorney's Office. And what Mayor Peduto suggested that I said quietly is something that I'm willing to say very loudly. And that is that the city of Pittsburgh talks about immigrants in a particularly beautiful and fantastic way. And that is because in Pittsburgh we really recognize, have always recognized, the contributions of all kinds of immigrants. And we recognize, as Mayor Peduto acknowledged, that part of the greatness of this city came from the sweat of its working people, of those who worked in the mills and in the coal mines, and who built not just this city, but really built this country. But also recognizing the importance of skilled immigration, and how, as Pittsburgh launches into the future, it does so mining the talents of the entire world, which is the same thing that we at USCIS are trying to do as well. And in particular, what the President had in mind when he launched the Task Force for New Americans, and he directed us to apply best practices toward the civic, economic, and linguistic integration of new Americans. So I really want to celebrate the Welcoming Pittsburgh initiative. I want to thank the Advisory Council for their work. I want to thank my fellow Cuban, Betty Cruz, for her leadership in putting this all together. I want to thank Melissa Fry from the Office of the Commonwealth Secretary of State for really coalescing the energy of this community, for turning this into really a model community of what it means to fully tap into the potential of your immigrant community. So it's really a treat to be here today with everybody. Thank you.
Secretary Cortez on.
I think we've now gone to good afternoon. Thank you very much for the nice introduction, for being included in the event. I'm extremely honored to participate not only in the naturalization ceremony today, but in welcoming Pittsburgh overall. Both the mayor and Betty have been incredibly helpful into our inquiries, finding out the successes that they're having, and how we can help them in their next steps. June 1st marks the beginning of Immigration Heritage Month, and what better way to celebrate than today's naturalization ceremony, the culmination of a very special journey. Secretary Cortez is unable to attend today's ceremony because he is participating in the Army War College's National Security Seminar in Carlisle. However, he sends his regards and congratulations to our new citizens. Having been born and raised in Puerto Rico, Secretary Cortez is familiar with some of the experiences immigrants face when they move to a new country. Even though Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, Secretary Cortez has had to learn a new language, adapt a different culture, and live far away from family and friends. In the same way, he understands the struggles. Secretary Cortez also knows immigrants have a strong sense of purpose and progress that allows them to overcome challenges and be contributing members of communities and our nation. And we see that right here in the Steel City. That's why he loves his job at the Department of State. And because of the work we do at the Department of State touches every Pennsylvanian, including immigrants. We know immigrants have a strong entrepreneurial spirit, and that at the Department of State, we take great pride in being the starting point of economic development in the Commonwealth. The registration of businesses, as well as charities in Pennsylvania, are done through our agency. In addition, our department is in charge of overseeing elections. A big part of becoming a citizen is gaining the right to vote and fully participate in our democratic process. Governor Tom Wolf also embraces diversity and understands immigrants are an integral component of the fabric of our society. Together, we are going to work hard to rebuild the middle class, to make sure we establish the government that works for the benefit of our families. We are going to make Pennsylvania a place where there are jobs that pay, schools that teach, and government that works. Now, on behalf of the Department of State, I would like to take a moment to present Mayor Peduto and Betty Cruz and welcoming Pittsburgh a token of gratitude for everything they do to the lives of immigrants to improve them in Pennsylvania, especially in the great city of Pittsburgh. Could the two of you come forward? I'll read the certificate briefly. Welcoming Pittsburgh, congratulations on your first year of service to the immigrant community. On behalf of the Department of State, thank you for promoting Pittsburgh as a welcoming city and model for diversity. As part of the National Welcoming America collaboration, too many words all in one spot, your office has helped promote mutual respect and cooperation between immigrants and native-born residents. The Department of State appreciates your dedication to improve the quality of life and economic prosperity for all who call the Steel City their home. Best wishes and continued success. Acting Secretary Pedro Cortez.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am. In closing, I would just like to say and share a favorite quote of mine from FDR. Remember always that all of us, and you and I especially, descend from immigrants.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa, and thank you to the Secretary as well. And thank you, Director Rodriguez, my fellow Cuban, for coming. I remember meeting the Director in New York and learning that he was Cuban. And as the daughter of Cuban immigrants, there's a lot of pride. That Cubans feel a lot of pride. So we're always excited to meet fellow Cubans. And that's something that we have in common with Pittsburghers. Pittsburghers feel a lot of pride. So it is my great pleasure to be here today and in partnership with the mayor, of course, under his leadership, be able to roll out our recommendations that were pulled together thanks to this amazing advisory council, many of which are here today. We had a 40-member team, fearless leaders that were our sounding board. We're pulling together their ideas on what needs to happen if government is really to take a step to build a more welcoming city. And with our leaders, with our advisory council, we went into the community and we were able to get over 3,000 community members who participated in the process, whether it was through the public survey that we launched, or community meetings, public community meetings, or smaller meetings that took place with our Somali and our Bhutanese community members and Latino community members. All of that pulled together to make up these set of nearly 40 recommendations that are what we're calling our Welcoming Pittsburgh Plan. It's a roadmap for the future. There are short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Obviously, we can't do all 40 at once, so we needed to prioritize that. I want to share just a snapshot of a few of the items, and I will also want to turn it over to a couple of our advisory council members to say a few words, and then, of course, open it up to any questions. Some of the items that you can expect to see in the plan and coming out over the next few years, more immediately, is our welcoming hubs. So we're working with our city parks team to make our recreation and senior centers more into community centers and really engage the community where they are and meeting their specific needs. So whether we're in Brookline or other parts of the city, making sure that our centers reflect the community that's there. We've initially already had some conversations with different immigrant leaders and found out what it's going to take to make our centers more welcoming. So whether we're looking at games or wellness, or maybe it's ESL classes that can be offered, maybe it's a gardening project that we're doing at our centers with the community. This is going to be piloted at specific community or city park centers where we're going to call them welcoming hubs. We're also going to be launching a municipal ID program. We've done a lot of research on this front and have been looking at what's going to make sense for Pittsburgh in terms of a customized, unique Pittsburgh program. And we're excited to already be at the table with some great partners like the Pittsburgh Public Schools, the Sprout Foundation, the Remake Learning Council, the Carnegie Libraries, city parks, and our office. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone because we have such a great group of partners that are really excited about this opportunity to come together all as Pittsburghers. And this is an idea that was born out of this council in terms of something that we were looking at other cities, but really it's not only going to benefit from an immigrant integration standpoint. This is going to benefit all Pittsburghers, creating empowerment and access for all of our city. We're also going to be building on the Mayor's Small Business Resource Fairs in partnership with my colleague Henry Pyatt, and expanding those to be more immigrant-friendly, to be more open and directed to our risk takers, our immigrant community, our budding entrepreneurs, or from the workforce side as well, and really helping people make sure that they're connected to the resources that they need. One important thing that comes up time and time again, and it's a big one, is access to government by having materials available in language. It's hard for a new Pittsburgher who's not born in this country to be able to understand and access government if some critical documents are not available to them in their language, even if it is as they're learning and seeking to integrate into the fabric of the city. So that is something that we will be undertaking, and that's going to happen over the next few years. And we look forward to working with partners like our Department of Human Services, Immigrants and Internationals Advisory Council, and the great work that they've been leading on that front. We also want to build on the work that Chief McClay has already started as it relates to addressing unconscious bias and the reality that exists, and really taking a cue from his work and integrating that across city departments so that we're increasing cultural awareness by trainings and other ways that we can bring our city staff together to be more inclusive and culturally aware. So those are the ones that I'll list off for now, but I'm sure there'll be questions. I'd like to, in the meantime, invite Ana Maria Mieles from our advisory council, who will be serving on one of the mayor's action teams, up to say a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Ana Maria Mieles, and I am a director with the law firm of Cohen & Grigsby. I have been honored to be part of the advisory council of Welcoming Pittsburgh. It has been a fantastic opportunity to meet with a diverse set of colleagues from different backgrounds, as well as different organizations around the city, as well as with the community at large. It has been a truly enriching experience for me, and I know for all of my colleagues. I see Pittsburgh as the embodiment of the land of opportunity. I see it every day. I see it in my house. I was foreign-born and came here as a teenager. I married a first-generation Italian-American, and my children are, of course, Pittsburghers. We have a lot invested in this city. Unfortunately, there are many immigrants, however, in the city who have not discovered the great wealth of opportunities that the city provides. And that is what we're doing here today with these initiatives. We are connecting immigrants to the services and the communities that will not only enhance their lives, but will also make Pittsburgh a more diverse and vibrant city. We know the rich history that immigrants have brought in the past, early immigrants in the 20th century. But let's not forget the immigrants of today. They're here. Let's make them partners in the prosperity of Pittsburgh. I'd like to thank Mayor Peduto and his staff, led by Betty, for starting this initiative, and of course for all of my colleagues on the advisory council. I know we look forward to seeing our recommendations realized. Thank you all.
I'd also like to invite Kier Mugwaneza to say a few words. Kier? Kier's also on our advisory council and now on one of the mayor's action teams.
Thank you, Betty. So my name is Kier Mugwaneza. I work for Northern Area Multi-Service Center. I'm a refugee resettlement director. Just like Betty said, I'm part of the advisory council. I'm also part of the advisory council for the county. So being part of this advisory council was a really huge honor for me. And just like Maria said, I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of all our colleagues who are part of it. It was just great to see people from different backgrounds. We had people from like CEOs to case managers and people like me who are working on a daily basis with immigrants and refugees. Just to see the combination of all those people, the ideas, what they bring to the table, and what we're producing today. It was a really good process, and just learning more about Pittsburgh and Pittsburghers. I also want to mention something about the community meetings that we had. I think we had a very, very good information from the people who attended, even from the survey. That shows that it's not only the advisory council or the mayor's office that want to see the Pittsburgh more welcoming. It's also Pittsburghers, even people who've been here, who are born here, new immigrant, old immigrant. Everybody want to see the city more welcoming. But just like Maria said, there are not mechanisms or ways to connect immigrants to all these services and resources that are available. So that's what we're trying to do, and I really think this is just the beginning of a long, long road that we have to go. We still have a lot of things to accomplish, but the base that we have today is a good start. Thank you very much.